There's plenty of activity helping, or at least happening under the Gold Dome ahead of the end of the legislative session next week. One of the items that will hopefully survive is the renewal of the state's Fostering Success tax credit. Here to talk more about that is Allison Ash. She's the president and CEO of Wellroot.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's get started with the Fostering Success tax credit. What is that exactly?
The Fostering Success tax credit was passed a few years ago out of the legislature, and it's an opportunity for Georgia's taxpayers to divert a portion of their Georgia income tax liability to help children who are aging out of the foster care system. It's an exciting opportunity to help young people pursue who have experienced the foster care system, pursue their secondary education and help launch them into young adulthood.
It's been since 22 since it was signed by Governor Kemp. How successful has the program been for our foster kids?
It's been very successful. It's helped agencies across the state who help young people aging out of foster care, also helped young people directly. It helps them with housing, wraparound support services, mental health services, educational scholarships and services, everything they need to be able to launch into young adulthood. And we're excited that the legislature this year is looking at how to expand and make that piece of legislation even better.
Talk to me about the foster care program. Is it hurting right now, or is it in good shape?
Well, foster care in general over the past 5 years since the pandemic has struggled a little bit to recruit foster parents. I think when people first came out of the pandemic, they were feeling very tired and like they couldn't take on more. So there has been a recruitment challenge with finding foster parents. And we still do need foster parents. We at Wellroot Family Services are constantly looking for those who are willing to foster. But other than some of the recruitment challenges we're seeing, the work is going very well. And this legislation to help young people aging out of foster care is particularly important. And I'm personally excited that the state and our legislation is looking at what happens to young people after foster care.
That's pretty good. All right. Are there any other programs to help foster kids here in our state?
Obviously, there's lots of programs. There's programs to prevent children from going into foster care. There's programs like Wellroots that recruit, train, and support foster parents. Also at Wellroot, we do help young people who are aging out of foster care. We provide housing, life skills training, mental health supports, vocational and educational supports. And we're able to do that through programs like the Fostering Success tax credit. So we hope that people, that your listeners and your viewers will take advantage of that tax credit. They can find more information at wellroot.org.
All right. And so now, let's talk to me a little bit about if the credit doesn't go through, what would be the backlash from that?
Well, we believe the credit will go through. Right now, in a time where there's lots of political things going on, it's not very political to help children. And the changes that are being proposed are ones that we think that everyone can get behind. We are proposing, or the legislature is proposing that the tax credit, the money available for the tax credit will be expanded, and that $30 million will be available for youth aging out of the system or youth who have experienced the system. That's actually another important change that's happening this year. In the past, it was for young people who were turning 18 who were still in foster care. Now, young people who have experienced foster care but may have been either adopted or reunited with their birth families can take advantage of the program. And now the program used to only include post-secondary education, like the University System of Georgia. Now it also includes vocational training and apprenticeships, which are for some young people the more appropriate path. So we do encourage your viewers to take the time to call your legislators and encourage them to support the changes that are in front of the legislature right now about the tax credit.
All right, sounds good. Allison, thank you for all the work that you're doing here in our state, and thank you for joining us on the show and your insight.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. All right, the measure